started.
Giro Savonarola. Okay, well, let's kick off with d4 this time. d4, e6. Well, we could get a French defense, I guess. I'll allow that if that's what he has in mind. No, knight f6. Didn't we have this already? It's like a bad version of Lechen's defense. Okay. Why not go all the way and put all 4 pawns up there? Aha, he's going to... let's trade. As long as I have time to get the knight to f3 to stop the queen from coming out, I should be okay. And there's no checks along this diagonal yet because the c-pawn is still in play. I have a backwards d-pawn here he can think to counterattack. My bishop is defending the f-pawn.
Check.
What else is going on here? Yeah, he's got the check. I can just block with this bishop. This is my bad bishop anyway in this pawn structure, so if he wants to trade, I guess that should be okay with me. It shouldn't be okay because because it loses the f-pawn. Maybe I was losing the f-pawn anyway. But it's hard to believe that this is a good way for him to play. He's attacking my queen. My bishop is pinned. And where can he go? He can take these pieces with his knight. He can come to this square. So I guess I should guard the c2 square. And then play knight to c3 to unpin. And then his knight will really have to move. He could just grab the bishop here, though. That's probably fine as well. Or I could just take his bishop immediately. Kind of a funny way to play, huh? But it does take advantage of this pin. My bishop is pinned, and the knight is safe there as long as that's the case. But I don't know what he's going to do in this position. I would just take something. When in doubt, take a piece. You could take the bishop with check, and then when I take back, it buys him some time to do something with his knight. His knight's never going to get trapped there because his knight can always take my bishop on f1 and escape that way. So there's no problem for Giro Savonarola. I still haven't looked that up. I saw that name recently. Okay, he just defends the bishop. Okay, so if I play knight to c3 so that my f-pawn is defended, he takes, I take back with the pawn. I like that. That way I get to hold on to all my material. He could have won a pawn there and maybe have been better. So obviously, actually, I made a mistake somewhere in that opening. Playing a little bit too casually. That check was very destructive. It's just that black didn't take full advantage of it. An interesting but not totally satisfactory, not entirely satisfactory solution. Okay, I'm going to take his knight. You can take back with the queen or the pawn. I'm going to take his bishop. Or I could just take the pawn. Let's see, I could throw in a check myself, but I don't see that accomplishes a whole lot. He can block with the bishop or the knight. If I do nothing, he can take this pawn, and I can take back with the knight. That knight's a bit exposed there. So I think let's resolve things a bit here. Let's take a few things off. Take the knight.
Check.
Take the bishop. And now my pawn is defended. So So let's just develop. Castle. Okay, time for another long think, I guess. This guy likes to play tricky stuff. But I don't have any way to take advantage of his exposed queen just yet. I could play b3 and bishop to c4, or rook c1 and bishop c4. Maybe that's the way to harass his queen. But I'd rather get my king out of the center before things blow up here. So my plan is to castle when I get the chance. And he's got a bad bishop. This light squared bishop on c8 is not doing a whole lot. He still needs to develop his knight on the queen side. And he pushes a pawn forward. Okay, that's a move. That is a move. I can castle. Pushes another pawn forward. Okay, I can play rook c1. I don't believe the way he's playing at all. I don't believe this is acceptable. So if I play pawn to b3 and he takes, I can take here with check. No, his queen is defending that. How about this? b3, pawn takes, rook to c5 hitting the queen. Queen moves somewhere, and even if it moves to somewhere where it's defending the b pawn, I still have bishop takes with check. And then I can take back the b pawn. So that wins a pawn for me. As well as developing, he guards the c5 square, so that prevents that idea. Okay, well, let's see. Undermining with a4 looks like an idea, but a4, he just plays a6. I take pawn takes. Doesn't look like that amounts to a whole lot. I could play rook to c3. Okay, so now he does not have the move a6 since he's gone all the way to a5. So when I play a4, I'm threatening to take the b pawn and then take the c pawn. If he takes my a pawn, that's okay, because I still take this c pawn. So let's throw in a4. It's an example of pushing too far, I think. I think that's what this is. He's just defending with his bishop, okay. Still, let's take this off. Gets rid of that whole mass of pawns coming down on my position. And now just pile up on the c-pawn before it gets out of hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He's defending for the moment. Amazing. Amazingly resourceful. So knight may come to... let's see. If he plays knight to... a4, hitting my rook, and I play bishop takes pawn, hitting his queen. He takes the rook, I take the queen. So he has to respond to that threat, and he takes, I take with the rook. So that saves. So I just moved my queen somewhere where his knight is not hitting it. See, if I go queen c2, does he have bishop to bishop to a4? Queen c2, bishop a4. So maybe this queen here. Queen to the side, and most knight moves or bishop moves can be met with bishop takes. And I have knight to d2 as an idea to add more pressure to the pawn. So what is he going to do now? Rook to c8 would be a normal move to try and defend the c-pawn even further. Okay, I'm going to play knight to d2. I still have the. I also have the idea of bishop to f3, skewering the queen and the rook. So that's kind of a dual-purpose move. It attacks the pawn. Yeah, so he had to move the other rook. When he moves that rook, he falls victim to this skewer. I don't think there's a defense to that. So the queen has to drop back. Can't move back along the diagonal. It has to go back to d7 or d8. And I can take the rook, and I think I can even take the pawn. So he did eventually get all his pieces mobilized. I was going to say this is kind of an example of what happens when you don't develop your pieces, but he got all his pieces out. So knight takes, rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. And I've got a queen and a rook, and he's got a queen and a rook. So is that right? Knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, rook takes bishop, rook takes rook. Yeah, it's giving back the exchange for a pawn. Maybe there's something better here. Knight takes, he also could just play to his rook to c8. How about if I bring my rook in this way? I'm on the dark squares, so his bishop is not doing a whole lot. And get a good outpost for my rook. I mean my knight. Get a good outpost for my knight. Maybe just trade off his queen. Threatening checkmate. Yeah, why not? Why not threaten checkmate? Maybe I'll miss it. Okay, so now the pawn is hanging. Knight takes, rook takes. Wins a pawn. And also have the idea of pawn to f5 here, opening up the f file. Knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Maybe that's not so clear. Since the problem is I can't take with the queen. If pawn takes, queen takes would be good, except that I get mated. Maybe rook back to c2 to prepare that. Okay, no, he just comes back and defends the pawn. Okay, so now f5 is possible. Pawn to f5, pawn takes, queen takes, threatening on f7. He's got queen takes here, check. A little bit annoying. So I could take off this bishop. Knight takes, queen takes, and then still not completely convincing. How about rook d1, defending the d pawn so that I can push on to f5, and after pawn takes I can take with a queen, and if he doesn't take, I'm not worried about the move a6. I think I can just take it. a3 rather. Pawn to a3, pawn takes. He has knight to a4 hitting the rook. Yeah, he's going to try and get some mileage out of that passed pawn, and maybe worth something, I have to admit. Maybe pawn to a3, I should play rook takes instead of pawn takes. Rook takes, pawn takes. And now I've got the passed pawn. And I can play pawn takes e6 here and open up the f file. If he takes back with a pawn, I'll have a check and a mate on the back rank, and with his rook off the back rank. So getting his rook off the back rank was part of the idea there. Well, this guy is really creative, I have to say. Plays interesting stuff. And sometimes he moves quick, and sometimes he stops to think. I haven't figured out his pattern exactly yet. So if I take here, and he takes my rook, it's check and mate. So I don't have to respond right away to that particular threat to my rook. So he defends that way. So now maybe rook here to hit his knight. The queen has been pulled away from attacking that pawn. I want to get my rook on an open file and also to threaten, also with the idea of threatening checkmate on the back rank. He puts his bishop in front. Not bad. So let's see, is there any kind of overloading going on here? If I move my pawn to a4, he can just take it with the knight. Okay, perhaps, well, let's see. Queen here, maybe. Queen to e4 is where I want to go. The queen to e4 would support both of these pawns, and maybe I can push them forward in the center. And, well, if he trades queens, that certainly helps me. This is a good end game with the rook versus the bishop. As long as I can get over here and stop the pawn in time. Yeah, the knight. Queen takes, knight takes. The knight is guarding the c3 square. That should be good. Let's see. But if the queen doesn't take, can I bring... No, his knight is guarding the corner. Interesting. So the queen goes over there. Hitting my pawn. Let's see. So queen to c6 here would threaten checkmate. Also queen to b7. Threatens check on b8, which I think leads to mate. You can only block with the knight. Or queen takes f7, so it's a double threat. A double attack on b8 and on f7. So I think that's the more accurate move. Okay, so he liberates himself. So queen takes f7 was my idea. King there, then queen here, check. King back. And let's start with this.
Check.
Don't want to waste too much time thinking about it when I'm going to play it anyway. King really, well, it could go to h8 or h7, I guess. And let's see, there's probably a mate here somewhere. Knight here threatens checkmate, right? There's still no checks against my king. This diagonal is safe, and this diagonal, this line is safe. And if I take here, that's mate. And he can't defend it with a light-squared bishop. He can't defend it with a knight. He can't defend it with the queen. Okay, so I think I've threatened a unstoppable mate. And he might just let his clock run out. But hopefully this is a win for me.
Black forfeits on time.
Okay, well, that was a good game. I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.